when you think about life, we all have this life and we know that it's fleeting. We're here one day and we're gone tomorrow.
Today, 1 year ago, Idaho lost 3 Idaho National Guard members in the Black Hawk helicopter crash. 3 experienced pilots were participating in a routine training in the Danskin Mountains when a thick fog rolled in and they lost sight of the mountains, causing the helicopter to go down. All 3 men died at the scene, and 39-year-old Chief Warrant Officer 3 Geoff Laubhan of Boise. Our hearts go out to the family and friends of all 3 men.
It's the perfect weather for a somber occasion like this. I think of the crew members and their families and just all of the love there. It's just very, very moving to get to do a project like this. And it is somber, but I wouldn't go so far as to say sad today.
This is the 4-year anniversary of Geoff passing away. I spent 34 years in the military. He came to me one day, and I was a tanker. So all my stuff was done in the hot of the summer, dusty, nasty. We go out and do our maneuvers and everything, and you see these helicopters fly over. They land a little bit, get a little bit of dust on them, then they fly away. So he came to me and he says, I want to join the military. And I was so elated. And the next few words out of his mouth were, I want to be an aviator. So I said, I can't say that on film. So he became an aviator. I was so proud of him. But for those 2 or 3 seconds, I hated his guts because he wanted to be a fly guy.
And so when I worked on this monument and I thought about these 5 men, and I thought about the legacy that they left behind and the community that they touched and the country that they stood for and the families that they loved, I talked with 2 of the wives who met with me, and they said that the 2 call signs were the Blackbird and the Falcon. And they wanted to see the flag because that patriotism was so important and so close to their husbands' hearts.
When Geoff first talked to me about wanting to be a warrant officer, quite frankly, I thought, I don't think he's got what it takes. And he got rejected. And then he went and learned to fly to demonstrate his commitment and applied again and was accepted. He always told me about what training he was doing and what missions he was flying. I'll tell you one thing that really impressed me one day. And I remember they had a boat and Jillian was driving the boat. She was probably about 6 and Geoff was coaching her. And I was just so impressed. Calmly gave her instructions, didn't yell at her, very peacefully and calmly directed her through what she was doing. And I remember thinking at the time, that's the kind of flight instructor he'd be too.
And I remember getting a call at 5 a.m. on the 3rd of February. Terry had called and she hung up and it woke Renee and I up. And then I remember 5 minutes later, my brother called and said, Geoff was killed last night. That alone was the worst moment of my life, hearing those words, not having anything to say. But it's been 4 years and we've been up here many times, my family, visiting their family and seeing the kids and Jen and her family, what they're doing and how they're honoring Geoff and remembering Geoff and what he did. They're still laughing, and you know, Geoff was a gentle soul.
When I think about Geoff and the part of the family that he's been, and I look at his family, I see Jenny and how she stood, and the kids, how they've continued to carry his legacy on. I'm so proud of Geoff. He did exactly what he wanted to do. He married Jenny. I'm just so grateful. I'm just so grateful.
You have moments like this when tragedy strikes, and to see everybody support and come out here for the pilots that lost their lives, it means so much to the families and everybody. And to see what happened here today in honoring of those pilots that lost their lives on February 2nd, it's truly a sight to just be a part of.
They held up our country, as do all of you that are in uniform here today. So this is a really special occasion for all of us to get to honor them, and there's many veterans here, and we appreciate you, and those names on those stones will never be forgotten. So what they've left behind is a true legacy, and even though they went too soon, we will never forget their legacy. We'll never forget the love that they left through their families and through their community here. And I hope that all of you will take the time to go over there and look at the sculpture very closely and walk through the monument. It's a beautiful space, a beautiful time for remembrance. So thank you all today. Thank you for coming out on a Sunday to remember these men. It's so important to me and to the families and to this whole community. Thank you so much.